Can you hook up a CRT monitor to your Xbox? Can you do the same with CRT TV? The answer is yes, you can. Now, I'll show you. I just loaded up Forza Motorsport 6, and this is how it looks on a CRT monitor. There, it looks crisp and sharp. Later on, I will show you how I did it. And also, I will show you how to set it up with a CRT TV as well. The first thing you'll need to note is that the Xbox One only sends digital video through its HDMI port. On the other hand, the CRT monitor only accepts analog video through its VGA port. Now you'll need some sort of converter in order to hook up your Xbox to your CRT. And the converter that does the job is the HDMI to VGA converter. Careful not to buy the converter that does the opposite. That one is called the VGA to HDMI converter. You'll want the HDMI to VGA converter. Now to hook this converter, you'll need to plug the HDMI jack to the HDMI output of your Xbox, the first port. Then you'll need to hook up the VGA cable of your CRT monitor to the VGA socket of this converter. If you want to get audio out of your Xbox, this converter comes with a line output to plug your speakers or headphones with. You could also do the same with the controller. Now the controller has a headphone jack on its bottom. Once all it's set up, we can test the CRT. And so it works. Now you might notice the video is stretched vertically. That's because the CRT is displayed in 4:3 and Xbox One displays video in 16:9. That's widescreen. So in order to compensate for the size of the video, you want to adjust the vertical size. Now, to make it widescreen, we reduce it to about 25. So that's an approximate. So there. If you want to adjust the resolution of your video, you may want to go to the settings. Now to do that, we go to Home, Settings, and then you go to General, TV and Display Options. There, you can set the resolution. I currently set it to 720p, but we can go higher than that, up to 1080. I'm not sure if 1440p would work. So, nope, doesn't seem to work. So, the least resolution you could take is 720p. CRT monitors are good in scaling, so you might as well set it to the lowest possible resolution. And the refresh rate. So here in the Philippines, our electric current runs at 60 hertz. So we set the refresh rate to 60 hertz. Then you go to the advanced video fidelity and overscan. You want to set your override to HDMI and set the color space to PC RGB. And once that all of it is done, you're ready to go. You can play games. Now we move on to the CRT television. Like the CRT monitor, the CRT television also accepts analog video. The only difference is that the television only accepts composite video, or what we also call as AV. And the input jack looks like this. It's called an RCA jack. So how will you hook up your Xbox One to your CRT television? Now you will need two converters. The first one we already mentioned, the HDMI to VGA. The second one is called VGA to video converter, or it's also called VGA to AV. Let's begin with the HDMI to VGA adapter. The HDMI jack of the adapter must be plugged to the Xbox HDMI output. Next, plug the adapter's VGA socket with the VGA cable provided, and then screw it in place. And once that's done, we'll connect the other VGA plug to the input of the VGA to AV adapter. Then screw it in place as well. The VGA to AV adapter will need power to operate. Thus, the converter comes with a USB 5V DC power cable. We'll connect the 5V DC jack to the adapter. Then, we'll plug the USB plug to the Xbox available USB port. And once that is done, we have to connect the composite video output of the converter with the RCA cable provided. And then, the other end goes to the television's composite video input. And everything is all set. Now we'll turn on the Xbox and wait for it to boot up. And there we have picture. Now the boot is complete, but the picture is stretched vertically. So we need to adjust the display settings. So to do that, we go to Settings, TV and Display Options. We go down to Video Fidelity and Overscan. Then we set the override to DVI, and that will set the resolution automatically to 640 by 480. Then we leave the color space standard since we're not using a PC monitor. Once that is done, we can start playing. While we do have the option to set it to a higher resolution, it wouldn't matter much for this television because it's limited to about 720 by 576 dots. That's about as near as the VGA resolution. And even if you do set it to a higher resolution, the VGA to AV adapter will downscale that resolution back to what the TV supports, and that's VGA resolution. Still, if for some reason we want to use a higher resolution, here's what we'll do. Press Home, go to Settings, select TV and Display Options, and then we go to Video Fidelity and Overscan. Set the override to HDMI. There we can set the resolution back to 720p. And you can see the display is stretched vertically. To compensate that, we adjust the vertical size to at least 25. After that, we move the screen to the right to keep the screen on center. And now you're ready to go and play. And that's how to hook up a CRT to an Xbox One. Thank you for watching.